This is a podcast about just opinions.
Hey, yo, this is what it is. This is what I think.
We all have kind of outlandish takes.
Like, don't at me.
If there's other free-form stuff that comes with it, we cover that too.
Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on. Pause.
All right, let's try something new this time. Instead of doing pre-work,
Try something new.
instead of doing like the pre-work and discussing dockets beforehand, you and I are both fighting cold, so forget about the pre-work. Let's just do the docket live.
Yeah.
New segment, docket. You got some gripes. Let me hear them.
Alright, so like, this is usually how I just like get my thoughts and shit together for the podcast, like usually or whatever. And I was reading them out to you, and like we always just like kind of get into conversation about like whatever I'm talking about. So I was like, man, like, why the fuck we do this? Let's just like save it.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I think we could like it's better for us to like just start like natural.
Let's just try it out. Let me see what you got.
Right,
Let me hear what you got.
So, actually, well, me, I always like to recap the weekend and shit like that. You know, starting off
We can
because
save
we
that
always
though,
have.
because we do have a guest. He's
do,
a little
but
bit
he went there.
behind. He a little bit behind, but
Yeah,
that's
he
all
is
right.
a little bit behind, but he wasn't there.
When he comes in, we'll jump in seamlessly. And look, he doesn't know what happened on your weekend.
Well, actually, it's gonna be kind of. Well, it's actually kind of gonna go into tonight because like we didn't have plans to go out last weekend or last time we potted and shit.
Mhm.
And like tonight we actually kind of do have plans to go out and shit. And like it's it's Thanksgiving week. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving right now as recording. And so like a lot of people in town, just how we were talking about last time. So like I kind of felt like we were just having that little reunion time that week. You know what I'm saying? Like when we just like totally just went to the flat and shit, like random. And remember, Jock like left us because it was all his idea. So that's what I thought was funny about that shit. Like it was his idea, and then he like,
Right.
nah, bro, like yeah, I'm good. Which is typical Jock. It's so funny.
Yeah.
though.
No, I couldn't make it. I lost my ID.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait,
That's
what?
my boy, man. But like I think in a long time we haven't went out like that as just us. You know what I'm saying? Like without the girls, like just like dude night, straight up. And like we were like
Just
fucking
with the
like
guys.
like,
Forget about girls.
No,
Just the guys.
no, but seriously, bro, it was like one of those nights.
It
Like
really
how like
was.
you would really think
It
that like
really
a
was.
girls' night would be, like when they're just like dancing and like I'll just like but with themselves pretty much, like like in their own little groups, like that's like what it was. So I was like, yo, this is like a good fucking night. Like, is this like really adulting? You know what I'm saying? Like when you just out with your friends. It's like those nights we used to go out and fucking like the end of high school and shit like that. Just go to random fucking parties and it'll just like be
I
awkward.
maintain, man, the move was either going to the mall or going to the movies.
Yo, I mean, the mall was always the lick. Like to go, we would always do both. Like I felt like in that night, like whenever like we would just hang out and
Oh,
shit.
yeah. And they were nearby.
Like they were always next to each other too. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. That shit was fun, and it just reminded me of like, man, like, yo, just go out and have fun with your friends. Fuck like all that other shit. That shit was good.
Look who's calling
Oh,
us.
this thing, you really don't know what.
We're in the mobile
It's
studio,
good.
and guess who came in? Antonio in the flesh. What's good?
What's good, bro?
We're about to bust out the crispy boys. What's happening,
shit.
man? Back in town.
I know.
Need a crispy.
Back from California.
I appreciate it.
Already.
One of the big things I wanted to get, just so you know, we're already recording. We're like,
Oh, shit.
you know what? Let's just make it as organic as possible,
I
right?
love this shit.
We just started off.
So I was like, it was like 3 minutes,
Yeah.
just to tee it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? We can come at this in many different angles.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into, look, you moved from Texas to California, Houston to San Francisco, or, specifically, you'll get into where that is.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious about that transition, like, especially at our age, like, what's that like,
Man, it's been crazy. It's been definitely a surreal experience. Like, moving your entire life, you know what I mean? Leaving friends and family, loved ones, all that kind of shit. And just taking that leap, it's been different for sure. But I feel like it grows you, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It definitely teaches you different parts of yourself that you might not have learned otherwise. So
You get out of your comfort zone a bit.
yeah, extremely.
Because people don't know you. It's just like, yo, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you-
It's
I
like-
feel like
Kid
you
on the
could be
block.
more of yourself too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
'Cause, like-
you could be whoever you want to be. Honestly, you know what I mean.
Want a crispy boy?
Oh,
Oh, you got you.
but yeah, so it's like, you know, you go there and like you said, Chance, like people don't know you, they don't know who the fuck you are, what you're about, right? So you kind of starting at ground zero. It's like when you move
Right.
to a new school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you already got like
Yeah.
all the knowledge.
Exactly.
You got the
that
juice, but they
definitely
just don't know it
helps.
yet.
They don't know it yet,
Right.
you know.
You gotta
so
put it on 'em.
just gotta wait for those opportunities to show them. So, but no, it's been good, man. Like, I definitely think it's something that I would recommend for everybody. Of course, I'm
Just
trying to get
getting
Mike out there. Yeah, I'm trying
I know, trust me, man. I'm about it. I'm about it.
Shit,
trying to get Mike out there. I'm trying to get everybody out there. I feel
I
like
love it.
the Bay Area is dope. I wish I could bring everybody that's here to the Bay Area, and it'd be fucking incredible.
What is it about it? Because for me, I mean, my reasons might differ from yours, but I'll let you, since you live there, you know, you can speak to the pros and the cons. And just so
Yeah.
people know, it's not like a PSA about moving to California, but
Come.
the
Everybody
concept
come.
itself of like, you know, just moving, making a move in life and like finding your new routines and stuff like that. Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get into, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, so I would say like kind of teeing up like pros and cons, what have you. Like some of the biggest pros that I've seen is just an ability to do whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I mean? So if you're into painting, many places for you to paint. If you're just the type of person to grab a book and go to a coffee shop, there's like a myriad of places you can go in San Fran just to fucking go to it's around on every single fucking block, right? If you want to go to the park, you like to chill, get a blanket, do a picnic, whatever. So many parks for you to do that. Bring your dog, all that shit is friendly. And you have that type of stuff here, but it's just not in the same, like, it's not as abundant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Over there, it's literally on every corner there's something to do. I remember I went up to SF one weekend, and it was randomly some random parade where they were talking about like impeach Trump and shit like that. And it was just like we were just walking around, and we randomly came on this parade. Walked a couple blocks, and there was like this dope ass street that had a whole bunch of like paintings about opioid abuse. And then we walked into another block, and it was like this store with random what the fuck did they have in there? It was like random sex toys and shit, but it was the most like unassuming name ever. So we walked in there for a completely different reason.
Right.
It's just like a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of different stuff, man. You know, so it's like quality of life, cost of living is higher, but I think the quality of life is also higher.
That's what I always hear, because people talk about, you know, oh, good luck affording that, buddy. You know, like they're rubbing the back of my head, pat on the head.
Yeah.
All right, Sonny Jim. I'm like, I want to go because of, like you said, like the I could just see. And what I've realized the last year, just my own experiences, I'm at my happiest when I have some kind of an artistic outlet. Lately, it's been the podcast. You know, but that'll differ. Like, I've had times where I'm just like, I feel like drawing something today.
Yeah.
It's not something that maybe I feel all the time, but whenever I do that, it's so, you know, introverted. It's kind of an introverted activity in itself, but there are times I'm like, man, I like being around other people. Like, I like coffee shop vibes, because people kind of, you're in there on, like, some kind of an introverted mission, but, like, you can interact, you can mingle a little bit, and I just feel like, kind of like you said, for what I've observed, really from the western side of the country, it just seems like those places are far more plentiful.
Yeah, significantly more plentiful. So, I mean, you have that kind of stuff, right? But another beautiful part about it is like, if you want, you could go snowboard in the morning and surf at night, right? Like it's all within an hour away of each other, and it's extremely accessible. So, that's another thing. I'm definitely trying to get on my snowboard shit. You know what I mean?
If you
'Cause
can.
it's
That shit will
there, you
be
know?
Well, so that's the other thing about it, right? So, I'm a creature of habit. I do a lot of the same things, you know, lather, rinse, repeat. And so I think if I was to move to another place, even if it's not entirely different, those routines are going to have to change. So I kind of have in my own mind how I'd process trying to find those new rituals, if you will. So, I mean, I guess the first question is not only what are those rituals for you that you've, you know, maybe adopted new kinds since you've moved, but how do you even go about, like, processing that? Like, how would you go about it, Chance?
What, moving?
Just, you know, like if you have a shakeup and you have to take on new hobbies and just new everyday routines, you have kind of the opposite, because you usually stay, like, you know, Houston, you love the city, but I'm kind of like you, where I like to go out and about and explore and try new things.
I mean, I'm always up for that type of shit, but like a big move, I've never really like experienced that. You know what I'm saying? Like at that, like, you know, any point of time, like a huge move, like, you know, never moved out of like, you know, anywhere like really more than like 3 or 4 blocks from where I was.
You move
like,
every year, but it's like 3 houses down. It's not a lie. It's not a lie, by the way.
Straight up, like, and I've lived in the same neighborhood all my life, so like I don't know, but I'm up for moving. Like anytime I go to a place, like when I went to like Cali a few like months ago, I didn't go to like to the Bay, but I was in SoCal and shit, you know, in LA, San Clemente, went all the way down to San Diego and shit like that. Like each of those places, I was like, yo, I could live here. Like, you know, just from like staying like the short time that I did, you know, like I was like, yo, I could like straight up like live here. Like,
Right.
like I don't like, yes, I could do it. And even like back when like I would go to like New Orleans, or even when I went to, like the last place I went was fucking San Antonio and shit, I was like, yo, I could live here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't really be nothing wrong with it. Like, it's less desirable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, shit. But it's like, yeah, if I had to get away, like,
Yeah.
I could make it. You know what I'm saying?
That would be a fun concept. Like, if you had to go on the limb, where would you go?
Right,
You know, like,
yeah,
where would you go
like-
away to?
But I don't know. I think, like, everywhere I go, I could make something happen. Like, I wouldn't be scared of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
even if it's like if small town, big town, whatever. I feel like you can drop me in New York right now and like 2 weeks, I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? Good shit. Be calling you up, like, where you at? I'm in Brooklyn.
So what are some of those like new how would they differ from what you did usually in Houston versus now living in another part of the
You live by
country?
Danny Tanner?
Danny Tanner?
Yeah.
Who's that?
The
From
Full
fucking
House?
Full House.
Hey, I've actually been over by that
Yeah.
park where the houses are. It's gorgeous, actually.
We missed it. We were trying to see it, but I had to walk up one of those roads,
Yeah.
man. Like
Word. You
4
have
of
to
those
walk up
roads.
one of them. I was actually watching this
that's
movie
a workout
called
in and of
Metro.
Yeah, it is.
Last night. That it took place in it's fucking San Francisco, and that shit looked dope as fuck. It was like old Eddie Murphy '90s movie or some shit, but it's like an action movie or whatever. Like it's called Metro. I don't know what.
I remember that.
I was watching that shit, but like
It was actually like low key violent, like 90s
Yeah.
movies. Like somebody got his throat slit. I just remember that from watching
Straight
that
up.
movie. That's all I remember. Like, damn, Eddie Murphy going hard.
hell yeah, nah, straight up. That's what made me watch it. I was like, yo, this shit looked like deep. You know what I'm saying? But they had this set piece that it was like a runaway fucking trolley shit, and it was like going down. I was just like, yo, like San Fran, because I remember playing like, you know, GTA San Fierro. Like, you know, driving up and down those roads, like, man, this shit's tight. Like,
just boogieing through.
so just that aesthetic of that city, you know what I'm saying? And it's right across the bay from Oakland, you know what I'm saying? So you got the best of both worlds, because, I mean, just thinking about Oakland, I think it's more kind of like one of those neighborhoody cities, you know what I'm saying, where it's kind of more residential. But like San Fran, it's kind of like more like CBD, right? Central Business District. Yeah, CBD.
Oh.
Like kind of all of it's like, you know, like on top of each other kind of. You know what I'm saying? It's built up.
Metropolitan.
Yeah, it's like built up like New York is, you know,
exactly.
like Toronto and fucking like
A lot of people in a small area.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just like, I don't know. It seems like a dope place to go. It's one of the places on my like bucket list I got to get to.
I want to go back. So aside from seeing Danny Tanner's crib, what are some of your other routines now? How'd you pick them up?
So I would say how I picked them up, because like in Houston, man, I think because all my friends would hear, like my routines were typically going out and drinking, eating. I'm not even gonna front. Like
That's all you can do down here.
That was really exactly. That's all you really do, and I didn't really do much.
The activity
outside
is the
of
socializing, I feel
that, right?
like.
That's
the other thing.
main-
Everybody a
side effect,
celebrity in Houston. Like if you even a nobody, like you know everybody. You know, like that's the type of town it is. Even though it's a big city.
So it's like out there, what I've noticed is I've definitely had to put more emphasis on like finding out where things are happening, right? So I'll go on like more of the apps that kind of talk about, you know, what's going on in your city today. Or there's a couple forums in my company that actually talks about social events and things like that. So I try to use those as like a gateway into, you know, joining up with different people that are doing different events. So it also kind of helps because that gets me out of my comfort zone as well, right? So I'm meeting up these random people who work with me, of course, in various departments, what have you. But that's another kind of way that I've been finding out.
That's,
different
you know
events
what?
and
That's
stuff.
funny, and that actually kind of goes to say like the type of like place that, you know, like Silicon Valley is. You know what I'm saying? Like around there, like it's huge on tech. I mean, like, you know, like So for you to even say that, like, you kind of rely on technology to kind of get you out there, like,
Yeah.
but like everybody does. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like because I feel like that shit's hard here. Like,
There's really not a good presence of, like, Yelp, I feel like, is a different thing. Like, it's a thing in California. Here, it's like,
I feel like you got to really just go to a place. Like, you can't really, like, count on,
you can't really
Yelp,
read through it.
Down here. And I feel like that about, like, even, like, dating and shit now. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the past, like, year or whatever, like, kind of getting back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dating shit, like, it's like, that's just difficult, man. Like, it's not the same as, like, back in the day when we didn't have that shit.
I have some questions about that, being on the other side of the coin, but we'll wait on getting to that, though.
Already. But, like, so what about that? Like, I don't know, like, your, you know, relationship status or whatever, but, like, you know, it's, like, the dating more online or whatever, too?
Oh, man, dating. So...
Or do you meet people out at these, like, little mixers?
All right, we'll just get into it now. So I've always wondered, like, so I don't know. When I look at, I got lucky, honestly.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this today. I was thinking, because I'm approaching 2-year anniversary. In fact, by the time people will listen to this, Monday, 2-year anniversary.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, just like that.
Congratulations, brother.
So, you know, I think about, like, man, I actually got lucky because I think about, I'm like, I don't know how I would meet people these days. You know, I was like, I worked with Emily before. We were just friends, platonic, nothing for so many months.
Right.
Met the family, met the friends, you know, got in cool with them all. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait, let's try it out. Yeah. So all the hard shit was out of the way, you know, and I got lucky that I was already able to relate to somebody. There was no pressure on it. So I feel like nowadays you probably have to do so much pre-work, or you would like to do so much pre-work to kind of vet out, like, do I really want to invest in somebody that doesn't have interests like I do? Like, opposites attract, but you have to have similar lifestyles, right? Mm-hmm. But that window of, like, how much time you have to make that impression is so much smaller.
Oh, way smaller.
Because of digital age. So it's like,
because
you have to, how do you find, like, somebody you're like, you check all the boxes, you've at least gained enough of my interest to merit a second interaction.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's like job interviews. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
that's a broken system too.
But I'm saying, like,
it's who you know.
But, like, it's weird. Like, it's like, I don't understand it because, like, how you were saying it, like, it seems like with the online shit, it's kind of like there's really, like, that end goal. It's not just like meeting someone and it's like, oh, that person's cool. Like, you know, we could be like, we're just friends from just meeting. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I feel like when you're on these apps and, like, you know, dating online and shit like that, it's like there's more of it's like a mission. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like something that just happens. It's like it's not a chance encounter. Like, there's, like, you're on there trying to meet people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not organic.
Yeah, it's not. It's not organic.
I mean, the way I feel about it, especially dating in San Fran too, and there's two dimensions to how I want to answer that question, right?
Yeah, I want to get into that.
Is definitely, like, I think how dating is nowadays is completely fucked, right? Because of the onset of so many dating apps. Like you said, the window is so short, right? People aren't really looking or trying to figure out who that person is.
They're just trying to fuck, really.
Right, so it's either trying to fuck, or maybe they're just looking like they're looking, okay, does this person have this? What job does he work at? Where, you know, what type of person? Where has he gone? Let me look at the pictures and see if he's the type of person that's been traveling.
Right.
Does he not? Does he have a dog in this photo? Is he
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and see, that's another thing that's hard to compete with too on those shit, because it's like some people could be just faking that shit.
Exactly.
Like not catfishing themselves, but catfishing their lifestyles.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you only post what is the best part of your life.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't like, you know, you don't see yourself in the shits. Like, it's not just like, I don't know.
Like a LinkedIn profile, like, matches 8 out of 10 skills.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, okay, yeah, I want to look at you, but what about the other person who may not be there yet, but has a significantly better personality and is a better match for you? You don't even give that a chance because...
See, that's why I hate, like, Instagram, because it's image driven.
Yeah. Exactly. It's highly image driven.
Like, I hate that shit.
And
like,
people
for real.
post photos, you know, 5 months after they've come back from the place that they've been at.
Take me back.
I hate
it. Like, trying to act like they're still there and want to go back. Like, it's
oh my God.
It's all definitely a broken system. So it's like dating, I feel like, whether it's Tinder, Hinge, all these, I mean,
Damn, you get into the expensive ones.
Bumble.
He a premium dude
Bagel.
looking for premium
You know what I
leads.
mean? Yo, like I'm trying to. Cast
and that's
a wide
another
net,
thing.
man.
And see, Mike, you said, okay, so you're into like actually like marketing, like getting
Oh, it's the
leads
same
and that
thing.
shit like that. It's the same
Well, so
fucking thing.
I won't generalize, right? Like my experience with Tinder, I had a small window. It was basically 2014. That was the last time I used it.
I used that shit for like 2 months and I was like, ugh.
Well,
this is garbage.
it became clear to me, like, okay, this is just like in any, if you have any kind of a marketing relationship with a business, you're trying to help increase their sales, right?
Right.
So how do you increase sales? You have to increase leads. So in theory, the more leads you have, the more sales you get. But then you kind of get into the point of like, all right, now at what point do the amount of leads become counterproductive? To where you have so many leads that you can't work them properly. You can't work the leads and actually nurture a lead, because they always say marketing rule of sevens, right? Seven times
Well,
to
I mean,
see
that's
something.
why they have the swiping fucking...
Well, but here's where I'm going with that. So, like, how do you take them? That is like me clicking on an ad, right? Okay, I clicked. That's fine. I have some mild interest.
Did you buy something, though?
I don't know if I'm even interested in buying anything. I might just click on, like, an ad because I'm like, I want to look at it for a minute, right? So that's kind of like with something like a Tinder, right? And I know people have made... marriages off of Tinder, so I can't generalize the entire thing, but my experience was like, more often than not great sales leads. Now there were some that, hey, sale, but like it wasn't repeat business. It wasn't like a customer for life.
Right.
It was like, you know what, this is a one-time
Right up.
purchase. They're not gonna come back. They bought the goods. They're not gonna return. So that's where you kind of have to look at, like, I don't know, like in an ideal world, you get all the high quality leads, right?
Yeah.
And that's not even to suggest, quality is in like superficial. I'm talking about somebody that matches what you're looking for. If you're looking for somebody that's funny, you want to find somebody funny. You're looking for somebody that is intellectual,
Or
likes
even
to
just
be
looking
outdoorsy.
for what you're looking for.
That's what I would deem
See,
a
I think
qualified
that that's like
lead.
where like it kind of comes back to.
Well, it's
those
missing.
are like
It's missing in today's era.
Yeah, it is. It is, and like, I mean, I don't know, like that's why I have to like leave that shit alone, bro. I was like, yeah, this is like fucking. First of all, this is lame. Even like I ain't gonna lie, I like paid for it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Well, I ain't paid for it, but still, like, it was getting paid for a minute.
I wouldn't be opposed to
that's
it.
when like. That's when I ain't gonna lie, when I got like the most, like, you know what I'm saying, like, cause I could tell who like fucked with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's another thing
Yeah,
too.
that was one of the cool things I liked.
So
like, you had to match. It had to be interest. So it's like you're at least cutting out some of the time. Like you're not gonna waste.
well, I feel
all
like
your time.
for females, they're cutting out like I don't know how it would work for them. Really, to tell you the truth, but I don't know. I feel like I rarely ever got matched with, bro. Like straight up, like I mean, I've got matched with like plenty of times.
I thought you were gonna say you rarely ever said no.
No, hell no,
all right,
hell
bet.
no.
Hey, liquidation sale. Our leads calling. Hey, subprime credit.
Nah,
That's an easy way to get leads,
80% of like the like people that used to come by, I will fucking swipe left, like straight up. Like it was a high percentage where I
Is
was
left
left.
good or bad?
Left is bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Like
Swipe
I was
right,
just
that's
like garbage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would even read their bios and shit like that. Cause I was like,
How much? It's funny. Like knock. Like I do remember this. If like the image quality looked like they took it on a Razor phone, out.
Yeah,
it's
automatically.
out. That's definitely.
Or
I see
like I'm not
pixels.
gonna,
or
out.
a pic with your old friend. If he's a guy, that's out.
Collarbone
You gotta
up,
pick-
out.
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna lie. I used to swipe right on those because it's like.
Collarbone
It's
out.
like, yo, what's up? Like, you know, like, that's your man's?
Oh, with the guy.
But I think something that you said about like just even the quality of leads and having so many, I think that kind of segues into like the second piece of just even San Fran, right? And I think sometimes with this stuff, because you have so many to choose from, it moves people to not necessarily want to take the time to actually know people, right? Learn you know what I mean? Because there's so many options. Why would you spend time on one or two when you know there's 50 other out there that you can match with and maybe go down a road and it's a little bit easier, right? So that's kind of like how it is in San Fran. I read this book called Datanomics, and super interesting book for anybody that's interested in that kind of stuff. But
Education.
it talks about the economics of dating specifically. Oh no, I'm good. And specifically the difference of the ratio between men and women and how in specific places that plays a part into how relationships go, right? So when you think about someplace like San Fran, right, there's more men than there are women. So what that means is that the women are revered, right? They're treated like goddesses because there's not as many of them. And from a woman's standpoint, they have so many choices to choose from. They can be extremely picky, right? If they want, we got a bunch of money,
pedestal
right?
effect.
Yeah, they're all put on a pedestal. But if you go to some place like Manhattan, there's actually a college in Manhattan where the ratio of women to men, it used to be an all-girls school, right? Ratio of women to men is like, it's like 10 to 1. Right, so they call it something called golden cock syndrome. The ugliest guys get bunch of women, and they're all bad.
This is
what is college?
So it's like
Trying to go back to school.
This goes back to like, you know, nature, our innate like just laws of nature, right? So like they say in certain ape civilizations where there's a surplus of women and there's less men that oh wait, maybe I got that backwards. No, where there's surplus of women and there's less men, their penis size will actually decrease because there's less competition. And then the ones where there's like more men and fewer women, it's like, oh my God, there's so much more competition.
See,
niggas gotta make them lightsabers.
Biological level is crazy. Like it affects so much when there's no parity between men and women, right? So that's how San Fran is. It's hard. Most of the women there are either married or they're booed up. Because they get whatever the fuck they want. Any type of guy they want there's going to be some flavor of ice cream for them. You know what I mean? But the guys, it's hard. It's tough. You know, because there's just not many of them. And, you know, there's also not many black or Hispanic people, so that kind of cuts out a lot of the type of chicks that I'm interested in.
We all out. I was going to say, or we would be like standing out like sore thumbs out there.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely very interesting. But we'll see, man.
Yeah, that's
it is always a weird thing, like meeting new people, because I feel like part of it, there's like a fine line. Part of it becomes, you know, as using another marketing term, keyword stuffing, right? You're trying to put all the things in there to check a box. But I mean, to that same point, you kind of have to lead with all your best qualities because you have such a short window. It's kind of self-fulfilling in that regard. And if you are going into a situation like, you know, maybe Houston, like you said, maybe a little bit more an even ratio, it's more of a patient, long game. You know, you don't have to make an impression right away. Whereas maybe there, where it's more competition, there's fewer selection. I don't mean this to make it like, oh, they're property, but, you know, mates, fewer selection of mates. That's where it can become more like, man, I got to get to the point quick. I got to be fast. It's got to get to the point,
elevator pitch,
right?
man.
Like that seems like that's kind of the dynamic.
I feel like here, like the like there really is no game. If you want a chick number, just ask her for it here. Like you'll get it. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and like that and vice versa. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody here just like. I guess because it's so much even, it's just like, oh, okay, we're all just here. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely changed the whole dynamic of how you approach.
So that's weird. That's a weird spectrum.
Well,
to
the
think
other
about.
and the other like little fine line too is we've talked about before. The best things happen when you have no expectations.
Right.
Yeah,
So when it's organic and it just kind of happens, it's like, wow. But in your situation, it's like it'd be so much harder to create organic situations or kind of just stumble upon scenarios that are, you know, that kind of cultivate an organic situation. So you might have to go to the technology to create that forced, you know, just because there aren't as many options. And like I said, look, if I'm looking at it, we're all 30 now. I'm fortunate, you know, that I found my mate. But I'm like, if I was single right now, I'm like, most of the good ones, like you said, are going to be married or in a serious relationship.
Yep.
You know, or they've just been burned so many times that they're like, I'm just gonna chill for a while. You know, so
that lie.
It's kind of that lie.
That lie. That's a fucking lie.
I haven't heard it. I'm saying
Why?
They're getting digged down by somebody. Maybe
Yeah,
it's not you.
bitches. Yeah, it's just not you. You know what I mean?
But you know, like, if you're looking for like an actual, that's a different story. If you're looking for like a mate, like if you're looking for somebody to actually date, you know, like. If you're looking to hook up, it isn't that hard.
Right.
It's not that hard to find people. But if you're looking for a
not here.
significant other, like man, it's almost like going to like being a big market like the Knicks. like all the free agents get signed up right away. And you're like, Julius Randle, we'll make it work. Like, max contract. I love you.
In New York too, like the biggest fucking market. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I mean, that's kind of the point, though. It's like it feels like you're already playing with a short hand because it's like, well, shit. It's not even that you're old and you're less desirable, but I feel like the ones that we're going for are probably about our age.
Exactly.
And they're mostly taken.
Yep. Similar boat. Yep. So.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of them, the ones I encounter, they be single to the motherfucker, at least acting like it.
But are they the ones that you want to date?
You know what? I really don't. Oh, you know what? That's a good question because I didn't think about the word date. Right. I don't want to date nobody right now. Fuck these motherfuckers.
You just
man.
You can dig down by somebody then.
Huh?
No logic.
No. I'm saying like that's a fucking thing. Like exactly. Yeah, she get digged down by somebody. They may not be dating, or I may not. There may not be any like there's no titles there or anything like that. Right. There's no really court. Like it's literally just that,
right.
Like what it is.
But that's a big difference, though, because I think that, I guess, then that becomes a question.
But I'm just talking about meeting, like the point of like.
Well, but then that becomes a question too. Then, like, so as a result, let's say these ones that you do just
like do
casually that way, you just casually, hook up with or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe at that point your standards drop a little bit to say, you know what, maybe
no, not at all.
Not like to hook up, but maybe you're like. Maybe I'm not giving this person a good enough chance. Maybe I need to date them longer. It's kind of like if you look at like a sports team, right? Where it's like, oh, the team's losing, it's the coach's fault. We're going to fire him right away. Sometimes when they keep that coach for a while, they finally turn it around.
Real quick, because you were going like to a good point. Like no,
that
seriously.
is the point.
But
so coaches, like let's say all of a sudden they last long enough, their system starts working. You're like, okay, I thought this wasn't the right fit at first, but look, we're winning now. So conversely, like dating somebody, right? Do you think there is, okay, maybe I do date these people a little bit longer and then see if something actually develops?
Yeah, but I think that
there's
I think that like it's a slowdown now. Like there's really no dating. Like to your point
true.
where you just asked me, like like if
remove labels though. Remove labels.
But I'm just saying like, okay, say like me and like, or not me, just anyone, like a couple or whatever. Say like they like fuck the first night that they meet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. But like, it's not like a just sex thing. No. I'm not saying like that. But like like they get to hanging out and like the next thing you know, like they're kind of like a couple. Like right. Like I don't know, like but it just happens kind of like over time. They don't rush it type shit. That could totally happen. You know what I'm saying? And there's those people that like wait fucking forever. And then do the same fucking thing.
So when do you shit or get off the pot? And I know it's not like putting a label.
It can't be. I don't know if it's necessarily the same when it's between people, right? With the coach's analogy, that kind of makes sense, right? Because sometimes it takes time, or even like a president, right? You can even kind of switch those in. It takes time for what they're trying to do to take effect, right? Yeah. So I get that. But with relationships, you need to have, for me anyway, that immediate chemistry, right? It has to be effortless.
It has to be
have that chemistry. You have to have things in common. It has to be
really immediate.
And it's like, I think, especially as we get older as well, you kind of, you at this point, you know what you like and what you don't like, for the most part, right? And people are, for the most part, again, set in their ways. So how they come off is who they are, to a certain extent. So I think it's like, you kind of see or know if you're going to have that connection pretty quickly on. Right. And if you have to, or you want to decide to give it more time, I think you're kind of forcing it, and that's not the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it that way. You guys are wording it way better than I am. So you said, you have to have that chemistry right away. And I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Chemistry is number one. Absolutely. That's got to be number one in the checklist. Then the question becomes, what if you have excellent chemistry with somebody, but they check like none of the long-term boxes? And it's almost like...
Why the fuck?
Or fuck buddy.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is, but like...
Friend or fuck buddy. Like, it's...
Is there really a such thing as long-term boxes? Like, I mean, at that point, though, if you feel like you have that excellent chemistry
Well, that's the question then. So if the chemistry is the top notch, and you're like, I don't know if anything else really meets that level, that standard, but is there ever a point then, I guess you're saying yes and maybe you're saying no, that chemistry becomes so high that it becomes, okay, I can't pass up giving this, being patient with this one?
That's a good question. I think it depends on what are the other boxes, because if
You
you,
can't have
think
no
that
boxes.
things, yeah, for sure. But I'm just thinking like there's a difference in the boxes, right? If it's things that you don't think that person will change, right? Whether it's short term, long term, those other boxes are never going to be filled, right? So you have to say, okay, am I going to be okay with that? But again, you know that early on. You probably wouldn't need time to understand that. Or are those boxes things that you think that person will learn? Like, for instance, say you like to run and that person hates exercising, right? But the chemistry's dope, right? Is that a box that maybe because you start to, be with that person longer and just kind of how relationships go, that person may take on some of those type of hobbies, right? And they start sharing some of those things that you're interested in. Then it's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, I think that maybe that can change in the future. Let me continue to move forward with this. Right. But it just kind of depends. It's
that
very,
just
very
comes with the growing relationship.
True.
Because, like, it could go either way. Like, you could say, like, you could have, like, a certain thing in common, like going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're all both workout nuts or whatever. That's where y'all met, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But, like, nothing else that y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is the same thing. Like, she likes fucking punk, metal, rock music shit. You know what I'm saying? You just, like, fucking classical. Right. You know, like, you're a fucking nerd like that. And, so, but then there's times when, like, you just, like, kind of meet someone and it's like y'all have, like, so much in common and even things like but you're total opposite people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I've been, like, most of my relationships that I've been in, like, actually, which hasn't been many, you know what I'm saying? But they've been those type of relationships. Like, oh, shit, like, I got a lot in common with this person, but not really. Right. Like, looking at the things, like, you know, like, we don't come from the same walks of life. Like, it's not, shit's, like, really not meant to be.
But let me ask you a question, Chance. Let me go down the rabbit hole with you. Say you have different things, right? Almost converse things. Like you said, you like classical music and that person likes punk rock, or that person's from a different culture and you're from a different culture. Do you think that's better because you get to learn new things, or do you think it's bad because the cultures aren't the same?
I think it's better because, like, I know this is a cliche ass saying, but opposites attract. But it's kind of like polarizing things. It makes a complete thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I look at shit like that way. Like, it's like two opposite ends of a globe. And, like, you put them shits together. So you got, like, fucking the Western Hemisphere or the Eastern Hemisphere, put them together, you got a big circle. You know what I'm saying? It's never like some, I don't know. I think that's way better for a relationship than people that are mad alike.
Well, so I think it's hard to answer, right? Yeah. Because there is a middle ground. It's like, I like having
it's
my
a Venn
own
diagram.
Yeah, definitely that. I like having my own interests so I can be to myself. I'm extroverted. I'm outgoing. I like being around people. But there are times where I don't want to be around anybody because I guess the extrovert is so high that it's like, man, I'm out of gas. I just want to chill for a little bit. Yeah. Right. So in those times, it's cool to have, like, okay, I have my own hobbies for myself. Right. I think it's hard to identify. I think we don't really know what those qualities are going in. It's like the music thing. You know, maybe you didn't realize that music mattered all that much to you. And you're like, our interests are very much different. But then, like, the little things, right? The little details. Like, I'm driving around when we're going to see, the in-laws. Who's controlling the music? Is the other person going to be miserable, or are they going to be, like, kind of go with the flow? And, like, do you care? Like, it's something you might not really realize until you're in it. You're like, man, this is part of the everyday life. It's a little thing, but, this kind of fucking matters,
No, I mean, and those little, like, nuanced little shits, like, they always do matter, too.
They do. The details matter.
On both sides. Like, there's little shit that, like, you wouldn't think it would piss you off, but it's like, damn, like, come on, I was jamming that song. Why you changed that shit?
Like, I don't want to listen to classical
like,
right
what the
now.
fuck? Like,
good shit. It just kind of depends. Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Well, I was just going to say, I think it just also depends on, like, how open-minded you are, right? Because I hear so many stories of just even people in relationships, but from different cultures or different walks of life. And they're like, oh, they're not in the same culture or religion, and my family won't let me date that person, right?
Those be the best relationships, bro. That's not gonna lie. Those be like the livest ones. You know what I'm saying?
So,
she hates her dad.
I know, right? I'm gonna do this because I don't like my dad. I'm gonna define him.
Those are lies.
Maybe that's kind of more so far-fetched, but you hear that, right? Like,
well, that does suck. And I don't know if I've never been, like, prejudiced against when it came to, like, dating qualifications that I know of, like, because I don't really know many that are like, he's Hispanic and white, like, nah, You know, y'all can speak to that way more than I can.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that's like, though. But, I mean,
Yeah, it's
that
so
has to
crazy.
be another factor that you're just like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
Right.
I definitely had a white chick tell me, "Oh, you know, I can't date you because my dad, for sure."
I ain't never heard him ever told me that
Yeah.
type of shit. But like, I've dated a lot of white chicks. Well, not like dated, but like, you know, like I don't think that they had like father problems though. It wasn't like
Well,
no
not
thing.
father
like,
problems,
Well, not like
just a
father
different
problems, but
thing,
like
though.
I don't know. I was just saying like that shit has never been kind of brung up to me.
But
like,
are we talking about chicks that you're just fucking and chicks that you're actually thinking about
Both.
dating? Because it's like I think it's more so like, right, you fuck whatever race, right? That's not an issue, but
Right.
more so bringing them home to mom and dad, right? Bringing you home, a black guy home to mommy and daddy is sometimes again
It's a hang-up for some.
it's a hang up for some,
Yeah.
right? And you really have to not care.
well,
you know,
sometimes it goes all the way around too. Yeah, but like I've never felt like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
So you,
not at all.
you obviously know, but like, how much of it is that side too? Where like, if y'all bring a white, y'all don't. I know.
Oh, well, my
It's-
mama definitely like mentioned that kind of shit before, but I don't care. Like,
You know what?
I mean?
Like back in the day, she like I think she used to kind of be on some shit like that. But like
Yeah.
I remember in 6th grade, like Hannah, like I remember
remember
my
that.
mom would always talk about like Hannah, like she was like, oh, you like Hannah, like you know, like shit like that,
Yeah.
like fuck with me that way. It was like, it was like,
Right.
all right, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you
You're right, you're right, Mom.
you're right, you know, mother's know best, you know, but like you know, like I knew it wasn't like a problem, you know what I'm saying, like at like 6th grade, you know what I'm saying, like it wasn't like no thing for me to be like, oh yeah, this white girl here is my girlfriend, or this like Mexican girl is my girlfriend, or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like it was never a big thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie though, I didn't bring my first like girlfriend home until like I was 16. And I was like the only girlfriend I really, well no, the only one.
I never did either. I was like,
I wasn't gonna
nah,
play
you don't
that
need to
game,
know.
man.
You don't
I
need to
didn't
be
want the
grilling.
problems, man. Like,
Well, that was the only one I ever brought home or whatever. The only one, other
Oh, yeah,
than
yeah,
like
yeah.
after like gotten older. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
When you're
look,
older, it doesn't matter anymore at this point. You gotta take me
Yeah.
from where I am, mom. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I'm talking about like before like graduating or whatever.
Right.
Like only one, and that was like my either junior or senior year. I think it was my junior year. Yeah. So.
Bringing them home to mom. Nah, I was always like, nah, because I like to separate. I'm very much like,
Nah, I was
compartmentalize.
always like that at first too. I was like, yo, my mom don't need to know. You like,
You know, so bringing this shit full circle, I feel like when you have a massive shakeup, like you move into another city, or like you're in a long relationship, and then all of a sudden you're single. I feel like when you're in that structured relationship, maybe you compartmentalize
yo,
more.
there's a lot of shit you gotta change.
Well, but then when
About yourself.
when you're single and you're free, you don't compartmentalize as much. I feel like it's more like an amoeba. Like it just kind of all flows together.
yeah.
Like
Right.
and it's not that you're
Yeah.
like in situations where like circumstances
Well,
force
you
that
gotta
you
think about the other person.
compartmentalize. Well, yeah, and you kind of like, well, let me separate this and that and this and that. If you have a massive shakeup, I feel like it all blends together. Like an example, so dating, hanging out with friends, being, going out, social life, all that kind of stuff. I feel like when you're stable, it's like, all right, well, I like to separate those. At least me. I don't know if everybody compartmentalizes.
Right.
I feel like when you're like in a new situation, you really don't have. You kind of have to merge those to try to find people that you can further classify. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
No, for
I'm gonna hang
shit
out in the
show.
same areas.
For
Work,
shit
social.
show.
We're gonna see who I hang out with, who I might date,
Yeah, you
all that
kinda
kind of
gotta
stuff,
change that
right?
shit up.
You're open to everything at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, yo, let me, hang out here with this person, and even though we work together, still, come out. You don't.
What's
keep it
going
separate.
on?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, nah, for shit show. That's definitely.
I mean, you can speak to
True.
major changes too. It's been
Nah.
about a year for you. You just in a different.
I mean, I'm like technically kind of doing the same shit. It's just that like I don't have to think about another person.
Well, you said that a lot changed though. So how? So?
I mean, a lot changed because like being. That was one thing being with it, like, that certain person, like, every fucking day. Like I said, like, I've spent a third of my life with her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, take it, like, literally going from that to, like, this to where it's just, like, me. Like, it's like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm kind of back at the point when I was, like, 16. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, shit, I'm just out here. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
does it feel like
you gotta train yourself like different shit.
if
Like, you
you're-
don't get cuddles at night and shit like that. Like, every night, you know what I'm saying? Like,
take home?
you know, like you don't get the doggy bag or whatever.
But like, so as far as like the little things right there, like I feel like part of that just kind of
Don't get
becomes
the
muscle
pet your dog.
memory. Like you kind of get engraved in like I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And so when you have any like critical, like actual conscientious thinking, you're not really thinking about what you're doing.
Right.
But I feel like when you get out, like if you a major breakup, it's like you question everything you're doing. Like, wait, I don't have to do this anymore.
Right.
Like,
No,
it's
yeah,
For sure.
you
Was this
for
something
sure.
that she
You must feel
wanted
kinda
me to
lost.
do?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is
Was
like
it
you're
something
lost.
that she liked that I did, you know? Or
Yeah,
was it
because
something
I was
wanted
lost
to
for
do?
a long time.
You
Yeah,
know, for
exactly. Most definitely. I
when
mean,
you get lost, you're like, what do I do with my time now? Like, what do I want to do? You know? So you just do everything.
And another thing is you got to take your mind off that too. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So you have to do something, and like you have to like run your brain in some type of way, because if not, that shit will break you down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
People get the fittest after they break up.
man, like,
It's like you just head to the gym.
I mean, just
knock
after
it out,
like
you know,
losses,
like-
period. I mean, you'll find yourself just like doing random shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like shadow boxing and shit like that. Like,
So you feel that that's more coping, or do you feel that's more now like you're open minded?
well, I think that you're kind of you're literally just trying to find something to do, and you're coping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just you have so much time free. You have got so much space freed up in your mind, like kind of, you know, like to spend on whatever else it is. You know what I'm saying? So you get into all that shit. I mean, it's just like, say if you got like a full phone, you know what I'm saying, and you just cut half of that shit off. It's like, all right, well, you're gonna like, you know, put into like some more shit on there because you got more space to like do that shit. And even if it's like nothing, you just find yourself in like way more like different type situations and shit. You know, like I had so many like weird, like just random one-off nights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like just where like somebody hits me up, was like, yo, let's hang out, and it's been like time of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, it's like I don't compare it to like those times that, you know what I'm saying, where it's just been like, you know, like we were just chilling. Well, those were the times of my life too, because it's like, yo, like no worries, just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like watching
easier,
TV.
you know. But it's like the
chilling,
shake up forces you. You
snuggles,
get out of your
like-
comfort zone. You try those new things. You learn new experiences. You know.
For sure.
You
For
got
sure.
to.
You fill the void. You know?
Yeah.
You find ways to fill the void. Or the void fills itself. Either way. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's always best to let it happen naturally. Let that void fill itself.
Yeah.
You know, or you
So-
do the filling of that void. You know. Yeah, man.
That's one way to forget about things.
Hell yeah.
All right, so you got a list. You got a list of gripes.
I
know
didn't have a
you're
list
itching.
of gripes. This was just the docket.
I mean, the docket is a list of gripes, though.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like how I do it, it kind of is. Sometimes
Basically.
it's not.
So,
it's just random shit that I
initially-
think.
Don't At Me was about let's just get outraged about outrage culture. It's kind of like let's complain about complainers. I
Yeah.
kind of like look back and I was like, we're bitching about bitching. You know, like, oh, we're so tired of people bitching, but we're doing it like meta.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, all right, well, let's plan it out. We put together a docket. You have your ideas, I have mine. We kind of merge them, and I'm like, well,
We'll do some pre-production,
a little
like,
little bit. But now I'm like, I think we should just jump right in, because some of the ones that you really want to get to, it's maybe not a topic that you fully, you know, hey, this is a 20-minute talking prompt. It's just like,
Right.
this is
It's
something
just
I
like, nah,
observed.
fuck it, man.
Let's
Just
just
tell
talk
me we
about it
gotta
real
talk about
quick.
this shit. You know
So
what I'm
look,
saying?
I know you've been itching to get
So-
some of these out, so I'll let you jump right in.
All right, so one of the first ones I had was motherfucking Epstein didn't kill himself memes and posts and shit like that. Yo, first of all, those shit's an ass, and they were played out like a month ago, and everybody knew that fucking Epstein didn't kill himself. And y'all acting like this is some new fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that shit. Like right now,
Yeah.
y'all see those shits like all the time.
I don't see the memes all
I
the
see
time. but
I just see
like,
random fucking posts. Like
I see the hashtag.
that's so.
In
fucking
fact, when I did
dumb.
like a hashtag generation
Like, who
for like
cares?
just, you know,
Duh.
some marketing, that was one of the hashtags that snuck in there. Epstein didn't kill himself. I think it was like I put in like, all right, find ones related to sports.
Right.
It's like, wait, what? That's just,
How
I
does
guess,
that correlate
so
with
many
it?
people
Yeah.
talking about it that it's like, hey, let me bank on this too.
But it's like, so what? All right, cool. Like, you know,
What do you
like,
think you were gonna
it was the
achieve?
deep state. Like, all right, so they kill people all the fucking time. Like, you know, like fucking Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't the fucking shooter. You know what I'm saying? The only shooter in fucking Dealey Plaza that day. Like, okay, like James Earl Ray ain't killed Martin Luther King. Like, you know, like
Right.
there's a bunch of fucking shit that, like, you know, this like conspiracy shit. But all right, like we knew. Okay, cool. Like, you don't have to make a whole fucking meme about that shit. Like, and
This is
keep
gripe list.
just like posting that shit over and over again, man. Like, I'm really tired of like Instagram. I don't really think about deleting that shit.
You can. I'm gonna stay on it.
I mean,
all right,
you can
what's the
stay
next
on
thing on
it.
your list?
Oh, okay, here we go.
Well, it's because you follow 8,000 people, man.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I mean, I like a lot of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I be actually liking this shit. You know, like
I'm deleting that
like,
shit.
I'm
Where those
deleting-
likes going?
Yo, all right. Maybe you can even attest to this, Antonio. I don't know. Like, you got any Yeezy V2s?
Yeah,
Okay, how many pairs you got?
3.
You got 3 pairs. All right, different colors, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, why would you buy the
the
same
same
color
one.
and shit? Yo, okay, remember when people used to talk shit about Jordans? And like, yo, he's selling you the same shoe over and over again. Kanye really finessed you selling the same shoe. He sold them shits literally for like 4 years straight.
Yeah, no, that's
And just
facts.
literally
That's
changing the
actually-
color.
Damn, yeah, that's
And
true.
now, even there's
true.
some coming out this weekend that the nigga, it's the same color. It's the black ones.
Yeah,
They coming out this
re-release.
weekend. It's a re-release.
Well, you
so
remember-
he's selling you the same shit.
What about maybe 2 months ago? He re-released all the ones that he released over the past 2
Right.
years. You remember that? And they all sold out.
Right.
Again.
So I mean, like, I know like 5 or 6 years ago, like that was like what people were talking about. Like, Kanye, is he gonna change the culture, man? Because he gonna not be selling you the same shit over and over again, like Jordan has been for 30 years. It's like, well, at least Jordan's selling you like 30 pairs of shoes
You know what it is, though? Like,
over like 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that
Kanye's
makes it
genuine. Like, I feel like everything he does, he wants to do. I
Right.
don't think he's really manipulating people. I think he just does what he wants to do. But I feel like motherfucker's really good at finding a wave and riding it. Like,
oh,
he is
for shit show.
It's
savvy.
crazy.
So
just
savvy.
Great business sense.
I mean,
For
look
sure.
like
He been doing that shit forever.
This man
opera.
made dad shoes.
Yeah.
I even got a pair.
Yeah, I mean, he
and
even,
they fly to me.
he
like,
even
it's
started
crazy.
with it with the let me dress like a fucking white boy.
Yeah,
You know, like let me dress like back in fucking 2004. Let me dress like a white boy.
he's definitely evolved.
Changed the whole shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like everything, like for real. Since I'm not gonna lie, of the first 20 years of this like millennium or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like this time, this era, the 2000s or whatever. He's the most influential person of the time.
Man, and here's how I know that I agree with that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not really like a religious person. I'm like, okay, I'll pray here and there. I wish I was more religious, but I'll be honest, I'm not. I've never been disappointed that I couldn't make it to church until I
Straight
couldn't
up.
make it to Lakewood.
Straight up, nah.
Damn, man.
That's crazy, right?
Damn, I couldn't make it to church this week.
That tells you
Nigga,
something.
what?
Sorry,
crazy.
God, but like,
Yo, I had to go see Jesus. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, he was bringing it that night, you know?
Like for real though, and like that goes to like what I was just saying. Like, you know, in this like literally like he's been around for 15 years. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like mainstream, like he's literally been in our lives for 15 years. Michael Jordan was in the league for almost 15 years, 14 seasons, right?
Right.
Yeah, the Bulls run or whatever. He was the most influential person at the end of that time. You know what I'm saying? The last like 20 years of the
icon.
fucking like he was the
Icon shit.
icon.
It's
Yeah.
not just role model,
Yeah,
legend,
he was just
icon.
everything. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking worldwide known. People that's poor, people that's rich,
Right.
want to, like, if not be like him, be like with him, hang out.
Instantly
Like,
recognizable
he's-
by everybody.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like, he did the same shit that Jordan did.
You know, he did.
Like, he literally takes every little
So-
thing. So he does like what he's always talking about with Disney and Steve Jobs and shit like that. It's like, yo, all
What are
right.
his competitors? That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. Like,
He's just
he
shitting on his
thinks that. No,
competitors.
he's the only one that
He's
thinks
like, I'm gonna do
that,
the same
though.
thing. They're
Yeah,
my
yeah.
competition.
Imitation is the fondest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Hey,
It really
if,
is.
you know, I all the time will talk about, hey man, I want to do this, and somebody Simpsons did it. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that happened before. I'm like, that doesn't mean you
And?
can't do it
Yeah.
better.
Right.
I mean, look at how disloyal people are to
Come on.
hamburgers.
Yeah, there's
like,
a-
oh,
there's a
Shake Shack,
Popeyes, a
In and Out,
KFC,
Yeah.
and churches on every block.
Hey,
man.
hey,
Come on.
on
y'all
now.
some fraud ass niggas. Y'all was sitting in that weak ass in and out fucking line, man.
I
Y'all
drove
see
by
that
them
shit?
all. It's right by
Oh
my
yeah,
house.
that shit right by your crib. It be
I
a bunch of
won't dare
lines
go
and
to
shit
any
there,
out here.
bro. Come on,
I just know it
man.
would be
So-
disappointing.
That shit is, man. Come on. First of all, that shit's not even that great.
Whoa. In where? In
In
Cali?
and Out's good.
I've
Cali?
I've
Oh,
had
yeah.
it in Cali.
Oh, you
I had it
wildin'
right
out, man.
there on
You
fucking
wildin' out, man. I need a
Fairfax.
gripe list. I'm
Oh,
at this
oh,
gripe list.
you gotta
Everybody
be
thinks Whataburger is better
It's
than
not.
In-N-Out, man.
It's not.
That is not the truth. In-N-Out is fucking incredible.
It's not better than
Fresh
fucking
bur-
Whataburger.
Oh, absolutely.
Bro.
The burgers themselves.
Whataburger-
Just the burgers.
Yes.
themselves. Oh,
Come on. Okay, so
No
you can
way.
compare a double to a fucking
animal
number
style?
2.
Double animal style to number 2 any day of the week.
I think so. My theory
24/7,
behind this,
365.
I feel like the people that are on one end or the other are more like. Well, this doesn't apply to you because you like mayo on your burger, but I feel like the In-N-Out fans are like more of like the mayo type burger dressing, whereas like a lot of the Whataburger fans are more like the
Like that shit
mustard.
dry.
Or like
No, I get my shit mayo. I get my shit mayo, no
and this is
mustard.
how I got stats, right? They did a study.
I got stats. Like,
They
put it up
did
the
a
receipts.
study, right, in the entire U.S. for the best burger chain, and In-N-Out was number one.
It's because it's the most fucking popular, man. People, well, actually, no, people are hype beasts, and they go for that shit. Like
I've
that,
had it
'cause
like
that's just not
3
even everywhere.
times, and I've always been happy.
Yeah.
I don't
See,
have
I've been
enough sample
disappointed.
size. Right
I've
now,
been
I say
disappointed
Whataburger.
before.
Well, right now I say Whataburger, but I've also etten probably 1,000 in my life. Whereas like In-N-Out, like 3 times. So
The first time I
don't have
had
good
it, I had it
enough
in
sample
Vegas.
size.
It was the greatest thing in my life. But maybe it was because I was fucked up in Vegas and shit. I had it like 3 a.m. type shit. The sun was coming up. I took a picture while I
So
was
maybe
eating it and everything.
Whataburger is a more, in your mind, more consistent. But like In-N-Out, maybe that peak is a little bit higher.
Probably, like maybe because like you know like the expectation
Yeah.
thing. It's like you know how like
Right.
all right, there's you know like anything like all right, say like you're playing basketball. Like playing basketball, you're playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? But say you're playing basketball and fucking like it's like Hakeem Olajuwon's out there for some reason. You know what I'm saying? He's just a pickup game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or fucking like Allen Iverson in there. That's a better time or whatever. So I guess like having the In-N-Out. Like, you know, at the Palms and shit was like
Well, I guess it's like
a better
yeah.
time. So
think
it's like
people are
I got that
just-
high
Well, I guess
expectation.
if something fails, like if something exceeds your expectations, you love it. If something meets your expectations, you're at least satisfied.
Right.
But like if something fails to meet your expectations, you're so dissatisfied that like you're like, damn, you couldn't at least even meet expectations.
Well, I just
So maybe
think-
you're on that
I just don't
side.
think it
It's
was
just
consistent.
expectations. I think it's everyone in Texas, right?
But I loved it the first
home
time.
of Whataburger.
I loved it
right?
the first time,
You hear
though.
about In-N-Out though. You hear about it everywhere. People talk about it. There's always this debate about what's better. So I feel like people set these expectations.
They do.
So high for
Mm-hmm.
In-N-Out. And then they have it, and they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, it's definitely not as good as Whataburger."
Yeah.
It's not about that. If
Well,
you talk
and
about
that's
the quality of the burger,
The funny
definitely
thing
better.
is being on the other side of it. So we had at work, I had some salespeople in last week,
Mm-hmm.
and you know there was where do we eat? Where do we eat? And I'm like, let me.
I always
all
tell
right.
people, "Hey, bro, just go to Whataburger, bro."
But it's,
Swear to God.
everybody does. Everybody
swear,
does.
hey,
But
go to
I've
Whataburger.
I've kind of caught on where I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna tell you what everybody else already told you. But remember, it's fast food. So
Yeah.
don't go in thinking it's like gourmet. You know, it's not going to meet your expectations because everybody's put it up here.
Right.
It's a damn good burger, but it's been on such a pedestal now. But I think it's just more of like a comfort food at this point for Texas people. It's
It
good,
is.
but it's more so like like, man, this just
Whataburger,
reminds me of
Texas.
home.
But,
Yeah,
but I always
yeah.
thought that it was like top notch of fast food. Like
What,
that, like
Whataburger?
chain fast food. That's like the top notch quality.
It
you
is
really
like
get.
my go-to for
Over
like
Five Guys?
Houston. But
Well, Five Guys is
everywhere.
not really fast food to me.
Is that like fast
Cause
casual?
that's just like, bro, it's like $10 or $12 for a complete meal at fucking Five Guys. You know what I'm saying? That's
Five
like
Guys
pretty
is
much going to
undeniably
Chili's.
better. But
Yeah, for real, it is. I love
Five
no.
Guys does go hard.
Nah,
man.
Five Guys go hard.
Like,
Nah, let me.
Five Guys
All right,
does
don't get
go
me
fast.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. Five Guys burgers are way fucking better than Whataburgers. You know what I'm saying? But
it's a little bit different. I feel
for
like,
a place that has a
level.
drive-through, you know what I'm saying? Like, does
okay,
Five Guys
okay.
have drive-throughs?
No,
I
they
don't-
don't.
I mean,
Not
like
to my
a
knowledge.
place that's like on every fucking corner, damn near. You know what I'm saying? And like here in the South, or here in Texas especially, Whataburgers are like damn near on every corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like McDonald's to us. You know,
Yeah.
like it's way better than McDonald's. I love Burger King. It's better than Burger King. You know what I'm saying? So it beats those. Those are the two biggest chains that like people know about for like lifetime wise. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's better than that shit. It's never been like real fast food, like not real fast food, but like it's more of like you said, comfort food. You know, it's like the down homey shit. They always playing like country music in there, like that old like.
You like that Whataburger with tomatoes.
They already got like, you know, if like outside of the city, it's like the real fucking country people that like work
Yeah.
there. Like if you go to like the one in like Orange, Texas, or some shit like that.
You know what though? If you ever go to Whataburger, like kind of maybe breakfast time or like off hour, like
Like
even like
11 o'clock?
late or like even if it's like late as hell, like 4 a.m.
4
or something
a.m.
like
is the
that.
best.
The burgers, cause like they're not making a lot of those. So if you get up and they're like, man, they took their time with that shit. It's not mass produced. Before we move on to the next one, I actually wanted to come back to the Kanye thing. So
Uh-huh.
you talked about how Kanye can take something, repurpose it, and just sell it over again.
Yeah.
This is gonna be an unpopular take.
Except for
I
his
like-
albums, because he's never done that before.
I like some of what this dude does. Some of it, I'm like, that's kind of cheesy. But at the end of the day, I feel like we all shit on him unfairly.
Yeah, everybody does.
Well, who I'm about to talk about, Doesn't Drake kind of do the same thing?
But Drake's...
He literally did that with Care Package.
But he doesn't... Okay.
Everybody knew the songs already.
That's
He
the
put it
thing.
out, and people were banging it all summer.
He does it with music. Like I just said in the little like just off comment I
You
just
did.
made.
I caught it.
I was like, he doesn't do it with the music, and like that's what makes Kanye so great. Like that's why Drake may be the biggest artist right now, and he kind of has been for 10 years. I'll give him that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no,
Popular
like 10
as
straight
hell.
years, he's kind of been the biggest artist, like straight up. Like for real since 2011, because that's kind of when like Wayne kind of left it alone. You know what I'm saying?
Even like 09.
Nah,
was
09,
his start,
no,
you know?
09 was like
Yeah.
the start. Like that's
Right.
what I'm saying. For a solid 10 years, he's been like, solid, straight up. Like he's been the best or whatever. Not the best in my eyes, guys. Come on, I'm not-
Is it Degrassi? Is that like why it's lame to like Drake?
I think it's lame to really like Drake because he makes so many
Cake
soft
songs.
songs. He makes not even cake, but he
No.
makes a lot of soft music.
I will actually tell you why it's lame to
but
be.
I love Drake, so this is what I hear people say.
I'll tell you as being
I
like
like
a,
the music.
dude
A lot
that
of the
don't like
songs, like here's the thing I like about Drake. Before, because I know you're gonna shit on him. When I like Drake because like a lot of my memories, a lot of things that I like are tied to memories, right? So like his music is almost omnipresent. It fits in just about any scenario.
Anytime.
Everybody there.
hear
It's
it
like
all
a
the
guilty
fucking
pleasure.
time.
But hey, it wears on you. People are like, man, this shit goes hard now, you know? But like, it doesn't matter what race, ethnicity. People will say like, man, fuck Drake. But hey, a lot of time his songs come up, they'll roll the windows up, look around, and turn the fucking volume up. Don't lie, because I've heard you jamming some of his shit too.
Nigga, what
I
song?
don't understand
Nonstop.
why-
That's it.
I don't understand why people hate on Drake so much. So I guess I'm gonna hear from you. But
All right.
I'll tell you why he's top. He's one of my top 5 artists, right? Reason why I like Drake because his music is so relatable. I feel like for the most part, you can find a track on every Drake album that you're like, damn, I felt that
I'm
shit.
in
For
this
me anyway,
song.
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm sitting
in, like,
next to him.
I remember an experience on some shit you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's why he's top artist.
Well, maybe it's lame because in order for somebody to make that admission, they have to be secure in themselves. Like, you know what? I've been vulnerable before.
Yeah.
I've been in these shoes.
I
Whereas
have
like
no
it's
problem
like,
saying that
man, Drake weak. I don't fuck with Drake. You know,
Well,
they're rolling up the window when Marvin Room come on.
All right, see, for me, like, with it is since kind of his rise. I mean, after So Far Gone, I was like, fuck this guy. It's not really that appealing to me. I love So Far Gone. I remember I remember exactly who I was with. When I was with J. Carr in his fucking Lincoln with my cousin Nico, sitting in front of a little tray house, hotboxing and shit. First time I ever heard that shit. And like that shit was amazing. But then I remember who the fuck he was. Like when nigga, I was like, who is this? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like jamming and shit. And then I was like, who is this? And they're like, this is a nigga Drake or whatever. I'm like, Drake? Who the fuck is Drake? They're like, man, he like used to be with Jazz and shit all the time. A light skinned dude or some shit. I'm like, oh shit, that nigga? I'm like, wait, what? Cause like he used to always come to the vault with Jazz, like so I knew him kind of personally, like not like knew him like oh shit, what's up, we dabbing over, talking and chopping it up and shit. But he was kind of around. He was kind of just like a nigga that like I didn't feel right around. You know what I'm saying? Like not that he was sketchy or anything like that. It's just that. Man, there's something about this nigga I just already don't like, bro. And I've literally, from that point on, like, I mean, I love So Far Gone, like, because it was jamming before I knew who the nigga was. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I give him that. But, like, after that, I was like, fuck this guy. So I, like, never really gave him the chance to, like, actually listen to his shit. So I never really, listened to Take Care, like, the albums. Never really, like, got into, I really didn't get into Drake to Scorpion.
Jesus, you
Swear to
so
God.
much.
And I only like one song. And I only like one song.
So I'll tell you
And it's
this.
nonstop. I don't know why.
I'll tell you this. So like, Drake is my version of You're In and Out, where like, I don't feel like he gets on base every time. Like he's not batting 1,000, but like all of his best. Like if I look at, it's hard for me to define a favorite song, right? Like my favorites, I'm like, all right, my definition of a favorite song is when it comes on. Yeah, I'm like, I usually don't skip it.
Yeah.
That's my definition of like an all-time favorite song, right? That doesn't mean I think it's the best song ever. That doesn't mean that I by any means think that other people agree with me. But for me, I'm like, I don't skip
It's
this
my
much.
song.
If I'm looking at like my top 15 ever, he's maybe like 4 of them. No bullshit.
That's
like
so weird.
it is because
That's a big deal to
I
me.
I feel like I don't listen to like I'll listen to his albums and like I would say maybe let's just say 40%. I'm like, all right, I really like these songs, and the rest I'm like, I just can't really do it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like the ones I really like, I'm like, man, those are always attached to such good memories, and I'm like, man, like there's so many that I don't skip when this song come on.
He kind of panders. Like how he says he has something for everybody type shit. Like, I feel like that's kind of like, I don't know, like he jumps into like everybody's bag. And another thing that I know he does or whatever, because it's kind of been alleged and shit, they're like, he'll get these like, you know, like lesser known artists to kind of jump on their wave and like ride that shit. And because he's Drake, like, you know, that's Drake's wave. Like with the Afrobeat shit, you know what I'm saying? Him and Sway Lee always making the same fucking song.
That's kind of like the Kanye thing. He
hopped
sees
on
the
French
wave.
Montana's wave, really?
But
and
isn't that kind of like the
shit.
Kanye thing? Like he's good at seeing a wave and he'll jump to ride
but
on
like,
it.
but Kanye, like Kanye is like a real producer. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, because Kanye has done it with everybody. He has, like, literally, you aren't lying about that shit. Because he done it with Chief Keef. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, remember he changed up the I don't like beat and shit like that? You know? Like, so Kanye does do that shit. But I feel like Drake does it kind of on a sneakier level. Like, Kanye will let you have your single and shit, and he'll remix it, you know, and just hop on it or whatever. Drake will do that shit, but people be like, oh, this Drake song. You know what I'm saying? Like,
their ignorance.
But don't you see that? Well, isn't that kind of like he's putting them on? If they're not known?
I mean, in a way, like he did that shit with I Love McConan, but like, you know, like, where is McConan now?
That's McConaughey's
you know what I'm
fault,
saying?
though, right?
Party Next Door. Party Next Door dropped 2-pack of ass, like Joe Budden said.
I think there's still a lot of people that like them, though.
I mean, yeah, but like Drake's just using them for like writing and shit. Like he had them. The OVO sweatshop is not a like that's a common term. Like anyone he signs,
really
like
a lot of his artists.
He hasn't, and like, bro, you've been like for real. You've been the number one like artist for 10 years, bro. Like,
but I feel like, and maybe this is just a bigger.
Even Wayne hopped off the boat after 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe this is just a bigger thing about music in general. But I feel like that's kind of what everybody does now. Where like, I mean, shit, even the NBA, everybody wants to go in, find their place, and build their own empire. Like NBA, like, all right, here's my brand. I'm gonna build this shit around me. Music, I mean, look at all like
Rick
QC,
Ross.
Quality Control, Rick Ross,
Wale, fucking who else?
Wale
Meek Mill. Come on, Rick Ross put out a lot of niggas.
I'll get down with Meek Mill and
Meek Mill was out before Rick Ross though.
Meek Mill was signed to MMG. What are you talking about?
I know what he's signed to, but I'm saying who came out first though?
Rick Ross. Rick Ross has been out since 2006. Since every day I'm hustling.
Yeah, I thought Meek Mill was out. No,
Meek Mill, like Ross put Meek Mill on with Tupac's back.
Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac. It was a song called Tupac's Back. Tupac's back. Tupac. It was like
all I remember of Meek Mill was he was in like some pixelated ass image of people. He was in memes for a while. People make fun of his braids.
I think I had Omarion. He had Omarion too for a minute. He like, you know what I'm saying? Had
Rick Ross.
Well, but this way though,
I know he didn't put out Omarion, but he had Omarion.
My point though is everybody tries. I don't think that's an indictment on Drake. Maybe he's not a good judge of talent. Maybe he's not a good judge of talent. But like, you can't fault him for doing that.
Well, his writers write all like Party them write all his shit.
Well, but like everybody does that now, where they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna start my own team." I mean, shit, Cactus Jack, Travis Scott's got, you know,
Sheck West,
all of them, and I mean they're pretty good. I feel like Sheck West has his own following. I'm not like by himself, Don Toliver, but I feel like he was pretty nice on features.
Right.
You know, and I'm not the biggest Nav fan, but you know, like, you know,
Nav is whack.
He's on a couple.
Nav is whack as fuck, bro.
I don't get it.
Nav is whack.
I don't like him on solo shit, but like every song that he's a feature on Travis' shit is
on your lip.
Look, Beebs in the Trap, Champion. I ride with both of those songs.
What?
But the point I'm making is though, like, they all do the same thing. You can't fault for Drake for doing that.
Yeah,
some are good at
it, some aren't.
I mean, I just think that I just think Drake is kind of a selfish artist or whatever. Like he's out of all the people that like he's mad just selfish, bro. And like even when he like his bitches and shit, like he gets like in his feelings and shit, like, you know, like the shit with the Georgia Smith shit, he took out like off the album, you know what I'm saying?
But see, I kind of like that he's like selfish though, because
like,
I'm like,
that's
he a
bitch,
relatable.
bro.
It's that relatable. Like Antonio said, I'm like, shit, man, mad relatable. I'm like not using them, but I'm like, hey, it could help me out too, you know. It's kind of like he's just like the new 50, like the opposite side of the spectrum, though.
Yeah.
Like he's all in it for
The
him,
soft
but he's
side.
not doing it to like doing diss tracks. It's literally the opposite. Like, nah, no diss tracks for me.
I feel y'all.
All right, you got more gripes.
Yeah, I got plenty. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about the hype dudes. I don't know. Like, I know we talked about relationships earlier, but I had this on here. It was like Instagram gonna be hiding likes and shit soon. Like, why is
I love that
Instagram
shit.
just now getting to like the shits? Because they took out the activity tab, you know, of like the people that you
Smart.
following and shit earlier. Now they're getting rid of the likes. Why they getting rid of all the shit that got me in trouble with a relationship? You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
what you griped?
you know, yeah. It's like, why they
Damn.
doing that shit now? You know, have y'all ever got like in trouble for like with a significant other for like liking shit, or like do you feel like you got to be extra careful around Instagram
I
and
used to,
social and shit?
Well,
But why are they just now coming around to this shit? That's what I'm
now
mad
I will
about.
say this: like, I am hesitant. Like, if there's something I see, I'm like, nah, I probably shouldn't like this. Not even necessarily because I'm afraid of getting caught, but I'm like, I don't know what kind of image that's like.
Okay, see,
Spelling out like Mike's over here liking this shit. Also liked by the like.
You like 3 hashtags with big booty hoes on it. Like,
yo, yeah, they tell you that shit now too.
You should follow this hashtag. Like,
They tell you that shit now. Nah, but what's wild is like, all right, so like early Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, around like 11, 12, 13 or whatever. Like I just thought that was what you did on there, and this is before like it got big to where like, you know, there was the term like Instagram hoes, and like it was like
Right.
selling
It became a
Fashion
whole
Nova,
paradigm by
and like,
itself.
you know, like all before that shit, where it was
Fashion
just
Nova.
like, yeah,
everywhere,
like,
everywhere.
bro, Fashion Nova, I
The
want
most
to work for them.
advertised thing.
I want
on
to work for
Instagram.
Fashion Nova, son, or model. Yo, y'all can send us some shit.
We
Yeah, real
we
talk.
say don't add me. They need
Yo,
to start adding
Fashion
the people
Nova,
that
y'all
are in
can
the-
add a nigga, bro.
Well,
for
they need
real.
to add the people that are in the Fashion Nova.
I'm
ads, 'cause
saying,
they
why don't
don't.
they ever do that? It pisses me off.
Yo, yeah,
To
sometimes
no
Fashion
end.
Nova, yeah, y'all be fucking up with that shit, yo. Y'all gotta start adding them people.
Yeah.
But like going back to like, you know, like the getting in trouble, or like, you know, like if that shit ever happened, like I just thought that was what you did, and then like it really became a thing to where like, you know, like that person's like actually like looking at that shit, and it's like, oh, you like this, like what? Ain't that what you
Right.
do on Instagram? You know, like I didn't like comment like the
I do like they hide it
eyes,
though.
or like, I mean, I'm glad they're doing that shit now, like just regardless, you know what I'm saying?
Because for some people, it's like it's a vanity. It's like
I'm
look
tired
at
of
all
that
these
shit.
likes.
I'm
I
telling you, I'm
just-
tired of Instagram,
I
bro.
love it because I just want to see it crumble. Like, I just want all these Instagram hoes. Like, I wonder how they're gonna, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because it really made
It's their currency
a whole
almost.
market. Exactly.
Yeah.
It made a whole market of Instagram models and these regular ass people who are
The clout
you know,
chasers.
too, you know what I'm saying? Too into themselves, right? Posting photos of their body, right? Like, and I love the female form, but like some of these,
Yo, y'all got more to offer.
They're doing,
Let me tell
they're
you.
doing a lot, right? Like,
Let me
yeah,
tell
they're
you, you
shaking
guys
ass
have
and
way
shit,
more
which
to
is
offer
cool,
than
like,
shaking your ass.
But it's like I'm really excited to see like how you're not going to be able to make money off of this shit anymore. Like, what are you going to do
But
now?
I mean, they kind of changed the market.
Well, they'll still-
to where
I think
like
they'll still be
it's
able to
there.
make-
It's kind of solidified.
Here's what I'm curious about, because I think they'll still be able to make money off it. Like they're gonna have to be more. They're gonna have to change.
Be more intuitive.
They're gonna have to change how they present the info. Like they're gonna have to
Yeah.
like be more upfront with like potential.
Oh, I'm selling this pussy on OnlyFans.
potential advertisers where they're like, hey, here's how many I mean, you'll see that like
Yeah, I
impressions
think
and
you're
shit.
still gonna know somehow, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
and you can still tell how many followers a person has to understand, kind of, or gauge their influence. That's for sure.
Oh, you saying from
I
like the
will say
marketers'
this. Well,
yeah.
perspective?
Because that's how they make
Yeah.
money, but you can present that info. They'll still know how many likes they get, to my
Exactly.
understanding.
Exactly.
But what does that do for the up and comers?
Well, I think it might help because here's what I'm
I think
curious
that shuts
about.
them down.
Here's what I'm curious about. You go in and like certain things, like if it's an Instagram model, you like it or you don't. That's just straightforward. But like sometimes maybe it's like I don't think this way because I'm actually stingy with likes. Like unless like I audibly laugh or something, or it's like one of y'all, I'm like, not even that I'm just like, I'm just like, just because it's inefficient to stop and double tap or
Right.
click the, you know. So like I'm pretty like picky with my likes. What I'm curious about those people that I feel like I don't know if this is true, but it has to be true. That see, you know, oh, social acceptance. This already has X thousand likes. I'm gonna like this too. Or like rating and review something, or like following a podcast, for example, or following a certain account. You see how many followers they have. If they have like 15, you're like, I'm out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and that might vary for different reasons. Maybe they're just not consistent enough. Maybe they're not putting out good shit.
Right.
But I feel like now that that's not going to be on display, it's going to be harder for people to identify who has the clout and who doesn't. So those that are being stingy,
I see where you went there.
not stingy with the content, but like necessarily just like
No, that's a
the
very
haters,
good point.
Yeah.
right? The haters are like, I'm not going to show you no love. They might be like, well, okay. Like they might just be a little bit more forthcoming with how they actually feel about it. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But
No,
I'm curious
that's
if
a
it
good
will.
point. I never thought about it like that. Like, I'm actually glad you like brought that shit up because that kind of puts it in another perspective.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, well, let me show this person some love. Like, ain't nobody else gonna see. You know what I'm saying? Too. You
Some
think
people,
about it,
that's a thing. For some
Yeah.
people, that's a thing.
But it's like, who
I will
cares?
say, now that it's private, I might like some of the
Who
shit
cares
that
about
I
liking
feel
or
I
not
should have been liking before. Be like, triple tag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
about to-
cool. Boo boo.
Speaking of like kind of like likes and just like how we were talking about, you know, like the thing of like, you know, how long are you gonna be able to do this and shit, make money. I was watching. I told you about MTV Classic and shit today. They play just like old videos and shit. Like it's kind of dope because it's just like all videos all day or whatever. But 03 Bunny and Clyde was on, and
yeah.
like remember that was like kind of like, oh shit, like damn,
he
Beyonce like,
arrived.
really fine. Like
She arrived.
No, yeah, like yeah, this is it. But yo, Beyonce been peak Beyonce for like 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
So long.
Like she's like straight up, like, cause I remember Mike. I remember one of the first things you ever like told me. Like I still remember this. Like you like, yo, Beyonce's like the finest black girl I ever seen. Like you said it just like that. You like, yo, like nah, black girls. Like yo, nah, Beyonce. That's it right
This was
there.
young Mike.
Nah,
you
this
know.
was no,
Maybe
this is
not
like
as open-minded
1999. No, this is like when we were in 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
type shit when like it was, you know, like
Damn, she
Brittany,
was on top
Christina.
I guess she
like,
made me
she wasn't even
first-
really on top because she was with a group.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like.
yeah.
Like I was, we got the Britneys, the Christinas, the fucking, I mean, even Mandy Moores and shit like that. Those were Jessica Simpsons. Those were who we had. But then it's like, yo, you got this girl that's in a group that's
She
like,
was-
damn, nah, she the one.
Beyonce was the red pill because like it's not that I didn't know black women existed before,
Right.
But it was like, oh shit, there's actually something here.
Yeah,
I was never against it before, but I just
But
never
it's
really
like,
paid
oh shit, you
attention
never paid
before.
attention. Yeah,
You know, it's like,
Feeling, I feel
this
like,
is the
what's this?
Matrix.
yo, nah, and like I remember my little brother had like, I mean, that was his life, you know, like
I
his
remember
childhood. Like he loved fucking Beyonce, like that was his shit. And I was like, oh yeah, I was picking like some other person or some shit like that. But Beyonce really been like the like bad for like 20 straight years, bro. Like, and it's weird because like she just don't like really age. Like since, you know what I'm saying, no or whatever like that. It's kind of seems like she looked the same, bro.
That's like Illuminati shit. All right,
man, you think so?
I only had one thing on the docket, and this is completely out of left field. And y'all might be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But the other day we were talking about how like, what if everything? I don't know if it was you and I was talking with somebody about this. That what if we experienced life completely in reverse? Where
like Benjamin Button.
it started with death and ended with like birth, right?
So like Benjamin Button.
So like you're celebrating like, almost like you're all wise and shit. Like almost like if you played it in rewind. And it's like, and people are rejoicing with all the shit that you've done, and then as you get younger, they're like, man, you're running out of time, man. Like if you're becoming an infant, you almost don't you don't know what's coming. So it's like you don't really like fear death, like because you don't know any different. But then I thought about like in a very literal sense what the end would be like.
Oh, you just swim back up a dick?
Hey, you're crying going in.
You go into nothing. I
Oh,
don't know if I
shit.
like that, man. Like I feel like because it's like I feel like the
I
beauty
like
in
the
life
nostalgia.
is like the nostalgia is one piece, but I think as you grow
Education.
older, you start to attain more just
Yeah.
out of life, whether
Your
it's
mind.
wisdom, right, mind, whatever, right, friends, life, love, like that stuff happens gradually, and I feel like if you start to take that shit away,
Pain.
I don't know if I.
Well, we can all speak to this because it happened this year for all of us. I was like 30, right? Like, I'm talking about turning 30. Whenever I turned 29, I was kind of like, shit, this is the last one.
Yep.
Like, I felt
29
like
was
30
shit
hit.
for me.
I felt like 30 hit when I turned 29 because I was like, damn, like, this is what everybody says, you're old now.
Yeah.
Man, the second I turned 30, I was like, I'm an adult as
Yeah,
hell.
got my
Like,
second
nobody
wind.
can tell me shit. I'm wise. I feel like people talk to you different now. Like, oh, you're 30.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
You're all right, young
Word
man,
up.
old man.
Yes, sir.
Bucko.
No, sir.
But I don't know. Like, to me, it was almost like, damn, like, I feel like nobody can tell me shit now. Nobody can condescend me now. I'm 30.
Yo, no, straight up. Like, I don't know, but I feel like I could tell kids, like, yo, shut your bitch ass up. And they'll shut up. And like, oh, man, what the fuck?
He's an adult.
That guy. Listen to him. You know, like, but, like, yeah, you're right, man. Like, being an adult's fun, bro. Like you were saying, like, 29, he's like, oh, this is it. Like, I really thought, because 29 was shit for me. I really thought that shit was, like, it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, man, this is really going to be shit. But, bro, like, really, since I done turned 30, like, kind of in the past, like, 2 or 3 months, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been fucking fun, nigga. Like, we just been clouding.
whatever the hell you
like,
want.
we just do whatever the fuck we want, like, for real. Like, it's just, like, even better than, like, the time when you turn, like, 18 or the time when you turn 21 or anything like that. It's, like, just so much more wiser because you know what's, like, kind of right or wrong or, like, really kind of what you can get away with and, like,
That's
what
the
you
big
just,
thing.
like, what you want to do, you know? It's like, well, you know, fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway, you know?
Right. Did you have any kind of, like, tangible experience that you could point to with turning 30, or was it just no big thing for you?
No, man. I mean, moving. You know what I
That's
mean?
true,
Like,
yeah. It happened
moving
like a
was
month
big.
after, right? Or 2 months after?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there were a couple things that I always said by the time that I'm 30 I want to have, right? And I think, you know, this job and other things kind of set into place during this year. And it really, like, I was able to reach some of those milestones. And for me, I thought it was incredible. Like, it really was, like I said, like, you kind of I got my second win. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm here now. You know, I've hit these milestones. I'm ready to set some new milestones for myself to reach as time goes on. But yeah, I definitely agree with y'all. Like, 29, I was like, fuck, like, I'm reaching the end of 20s. Like, damn, I'm going to be 30. I'm going to be old as shit. But, like, nah, man, 30's been dope.
It has been. It's
Yo,
like, when we're older, it's like,
And I feel even younger.
value of life. Yeah, well, the value
In a
of,
way.
I think it's because our priorities change. You know, it becomes milestones and completing goals and, like, not being afraid to try new things, you know? Yeah. Whereas, like you said, you feel youthful because you have this enthusiasm. Like, man, like, I get it now. I get what I need to be doing, you know? Exactly. Like, what I want to be doing. It makes me actually feel happy and fulfilled, you know?
Well, like I was saying earlier, like, about, like, the, you know, like, being in a relationship my entire 20s. You know what I'm saying? And, like, this is really kind of like a rebirth because, like, not only am I going through, like, my 30s and, like, you know, more wiser or whatever, but, like I feel younger because, like, it's kind of like going right back into the time where I was, like, 18, 19. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, shit, the last time it was, like...
single.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was the last time I was single,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, shit, like... All right, I feel like kind of, you know, like, youthful. Like, I can just, like, get out and just do whatever the fuck I want to, you know,
Right.
like, but, like, it's even better now because I'm older and, like, you know.
You know, the one thing that does suck about getting older, though, like, and, okay, boomers, shout out at us, you know what I'm saying, educate us. I feel like when you're, like, younger, you know, like, there's, like, a scene, you know, you, like, go to the playground, recess, play outside, you know, maybe play video games. When you're, like, maybe, like, teens, you know, the scene is, like, house parties and doing things like that, going out to, like, little teeny bopper clubs, hush.
Yeah.
Where mid-20s, you know, you're going out, going to bars and shit like that.
Yeah, it's always a scene.
And we're not there
Scene
yet.
kids.
Maybe 40 is maybe more so what I'm thinking. But, like, what's the scene after that? Like, I feel like that's
nursing
a
home.
huge business niche missing for, like, you go to, like, those old
bars.
cougar bars. Like, that's what it is now. But I'm like, I don't know if, like,
Wait, for
I'm
30s?
excited
for
about
us right
that.
now?
You know, like, maybe more like 40.
But there's some dope ass, like, wine bars.
No,
though.
there's
That's
some
the
good
crazy thing. Like,
spots.
definitely some dope spots for, like, people who are 35 and plus, or, you know what I mean? Like,
So is that the
33
scene
and
you
plus.
think? I feel like that kind of is, right?
Yeah, it's like places like Anvil, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's definitely
yeah.
an older type of scene, but it's still kind of popping. You know what I
Right.
mean? I heard this place the other day called, like, fucking Goodfellas or some shit like that. Camerata is another dope ass spot that I would definitely recommend. So it's like, it's
You know
definitely
what?
like
You know what it
five
is?
places.
Maybe not as plentiful.
Restaurants.
Definitely
It's
not as
restaurants.
Restaurants. is
Restaurant
a big-
bars.
Like a fancy dinner.
Like fancy dinner, then you just, like, go chill at the bar and you know the bartender and he has, like, the
Yeah.
fucking vest on. He's
Shaking it.
He's doing the shaking shit.
Flipping it, cocktail,
fucking
Tom
Somali.
Giving you
Cruise
that
and
fucking
shit.
nod and shit.
You know, it's an interesting vibe that, like, I never really even considered
Mm-hmm.
This is the red pill for the going out vibes. Like, nice hotel bar.
Hotel bars are very nice.
Like, I never really ever considered that because I think the natural thought is like you only go there or can go there if you're staying there.
But no, that's not true.
Like I've been to plenty that I'm like,
we should do that shit for a pregame. Just like go there
bar.
and just like have a drink,
And
have
I
a
feel
beer.
like people have like all this like excitement and enthusiasm because you do have the people there. If you go like you're saying early, that usually they're staying there, they're going to the bar, having a few drinks before they go somewhere else, or just going to bed. That one's more like the sad, like they're usually on a work trip.
Well, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, so people will be doing.
But if it's like a weekend, you see them all dressed up nice.
Yes.
But everybody's so excited, so it's like uplifting. You know, it's not like locals drinking away their sorrows. It's usually like out of towners that are just stoked, and then they're like, "Hey, so what do you do in Houston?" And it's like all of a sudden you're like the Sherpa, like here's what you gotta do. You know?
Nah, for real, we should like actually do that shit just for a social experiment, just to be like, see how it is.
It would be.
Because like one, it's a holiday week, so people are kind of in town. You know, even if they're not. You know, from here or whatever.
Series. I actually have a good idea for that, and I'm sure we'll try this at some point. I want to do an elevator challenge. And with that, I want to have like a competition, like several of us or whatever, go to a hotel and just ride the elevator and see how deep we can get into conversation with people. So, like,
that's interesting.
It can start in like I always thought it backwards, right? Like, oh, it started at a small hotel, and then you go to a bigger hotel.
Nah, it started at the big one.
It should go that way because you have more time, right? Maybe when it's like super duper pro, you're at like a 2-story Holiday Inn Express, and it's like,
you gotta take the stairs.
It's like somebody you just see in there. It's like, hey, you eat ass? You know, like you gotta get to the point where something like, I can't believe you asked me that. But you know what I mean? Like something like crazy, like what?
Wait.
But you
Hey,
know,
what
like
kind of series you trying to have, bro?
See, but like the story, like
some shit you should sell to Bang Bros.
Getting like somebody's like deep dark secrets is what I'm really thinking. You know what I mean? Like
my mind's in a different place.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of series you trying to get us into?
I'm not talking about soliciting. I'm talking about getting people's deep dark secrets in a very short amount of time. You know?
Okay, I got it.
But that could tie into like the hotel bar thing too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are at hotel bars by themselves. I remember when I met Floyd Mayweather or whatever. I was at the fucking restaurant bar or whatever, but like I was there by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like it wasn't that I was at that place by myself, but that's just what I was doing at that time. Like in the hotel, kind of just looking around. You know, being in the casino and shit. Like, oh shit! But people do that shit a lot because anytime I would like travel or whatever, like you know, like we'll go like places. We like go to the hotel bars, like sit and drink it there and like figure out, oh shit, what are some of the places that we should go? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we did that shit in New Orleans, and somebody told us about Frenchman Street, which I had never really experienced that shit before. I always been a Bourbon Street nigga since I was like 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So going over there, it's like a whole different.
It is cool going to like a big popular city, like you know, like New Orleans or like a common party city, Nashville, Austin, and not going to the main
party. Like not going to like 6th Street,
right?
Austin,
or not going to
Bourbon
or something like that, or like if you're in Nashville, not going to Broadway, you know, going to the other little bars and stuff like because that's where more like the locals are, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because one of the original thoughts I had with this was what I had never really done it. I kind of, but I thought about it too with you moving to an entirely different part of the country all by yourself. Traveling alone, and living alone is different, but it's sure to a certain extent. Traveling alone is the move. Traveling alone, but I never had either. So with work, I'll travel. I go to Nashville and Seattle every year. I usually like to get, you know, a little group to go with me. You know, I do my business maybe on a Wednesday. Everybody comes in on Thursday. I'm on vacation the next 2 days. I just enjoy that city, right? I try to do that every year. This past year, nobody could go with me. So I went in August to Nashville and I went to Seattle in September. And both those trips solo. And I was like, I don't know what this is going to be like, but they're cool enough cities. Like, I want to kind of go do as the locals do and just kind of take it in and not have anybody that I have to coordinate with. Yeah. I get to eat what I want. If I want to eat a cheap-ass dinner one night, I can, you know? Or like, if I want to go eat somewhere fancy, I'm paying for one. you know, you sit at the bar watching the game by yourself. It's a completely different vibe, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you haven't done it, you got to try it.
It's
Like I said,
way,
it's
you're
kind of
way
similar.
more
Nervous
interesting
still,
too, because you're like just there.
Huh?
You know, you're kind of way more interesting to other people because
You
you're just
people
like
watch a
there.
lot more.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can people watch. You kind of just there to yourself.
And it's interesting because I'm you know, outgoing, but like I said, I feel like my leave me alone is increasing. Like where I'm like, I just want to be alone. Maybe I just talk so much. I'm just like, a lot of time I feel like I'm becoming even more polarizing. Like I'm either going to talk 100% of the time or 0% of the time.
Right.
But you know, you go to some of those situations and it's comfort zone, right? It kind of forces you out of that. And it's funny because one of the first nights I was there at Nashville, when I went last year, we stumbled upon this local restaurant called Rudy's. Seafood and sausage. It was some of the best food I've ever had in my life. No exaggeration. And the meals were like $20. So it wasn't even like that crazy. I'm like, that's a nice like local restaurant, really good food. So this year I went, I'm like, that's a perfect vibe. It's not too crazy. I'm not going somewhere. I don't know if I'd ever go to like a nightclub by myself or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But going to like a nice restaurant by myself, I was like, that's cool. I sit at the bar, I'm watching the game, and, you know, some older guy, you know, maybe 55, sits next to me. And, like, I can kind of just sense his body vibes. Like, he's kind of, like, open body language and kind of facing me. And every now and then he'll kind of look in my direction. And I'm
Trying to
like,
show you that moose knuckle, boy.
nah, but I can tell. I'm like, he's here alone too, but he actually wants to talk.
Yeah.
And I can tell. I'm like, I really don't want to talk, but I'm like, I know at this point there's no way out of it. I ordered my food. I'm not gonna leave. And even if I was that crazy, like, nah, let me just hear this. Yeah. So, sure enough, at some point, it's like, hey, so, you know, I don't even remember how he got in, you know? But we just started talking, and it's funny because you just learn to, like, just shut that voice in your head off. It's like,
Right. What the
hey,
fuck this
you
nigga
don't want to
talking
talk
about?
to anybody, just do what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm constantly, now that I'm older, I'm constantly in this battle of, like, now I get to do whatever the hell I want to do. But now I'm starting to realize, like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe sometimes I need to just kind of, like, do things for the benefit of others more. Whereas before, I always felt like I had to. Like, oh, I have to conform. With 30, I'm like, I have the choice. But now I'm like, I think maybe now as I'm older with more wisdom and more just, you know, openness and benevolence, I need to just actively choose, like, okay, this dude wants to talk. Maybe he needs to talk to somebody tonight. Let me be that voice for him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's dope. You like doing that shit when you just like, yeah, what the next time you going like out somewhere? Like traveling?
I don't know.
Shit.
Probably early 2020. But I mean, and those might be similar, but those are probably, they're not going to be like the cool cities that I'll stay for a while. Those are going to be more so like the like one night short stay kind of things.
Word. So like, Antonio, when you like out in San Fran and shit, like you're like in San Fran, like in the city?
I live in San Jose.
San
So
Jose?
it's like 45 minutes out.
Like 45 minutes out or whatever. So like how like, you know,
Silicon
when
Valley.
you like go like out or whatever, like where y'all be going and shit?
Where we go?
Yeah, like is it
So-
like clubby? Is it kind of more like laid back, you know, like dive bar-y?
Yeah, so I have experience in San Jose and San Fran, so I'll tell you kind of like the differences that I had. So when I went to San Jose, there were a couple places that we went out to, and one was just like, it was like a regular bar type scene, kind of like, what's a bar here that's like hella chill? Kind of like a handlebar.
Woodrow's maybe or something.
Even more so like a handlebar, like on for Washington, right?
Okay.
Like it gets kind of super packed. You can tell that's like the place that people go, but they weren't playing
Kind of
like crazy
swanky, but
music.
not like
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not
Yeah.
like that at all. So that was like super chill. And then we went like next door because there's in San Jose downtown is kind of where I live. So there's like a couple streets with a bunch of bars, right? So it's similar to kind of like how Montrose is. I would say San Jose is kind of similar to, not Montrose. Midtown is kind of how it's similar to. So, you know, similar type of bars. And then there was like a club like 2 doors down. And that was hella fucking weird. Because there was like a lot of young people in the club. And like I wouldn't expect it because San Jose has a university like right dead center in the middle. So there's a lot of young people that are all around the city. And it's cool because like a lot of people are walking, using those little fucking scooters and rental bikes and all that kind of stuff.
They need to bring those hoes here, man.
Yeah, they're not in abundance, but like over there, they're
little
everywhere.
green ones, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere. So it's cool. And then there's a place called St. Peter's Square where it's like, it's obviously it's a block, it's a square, but there's a whole bunch of like different bars, but it's open type landscape. So it's very, very open. So you can see the different type of bars, right? And you just like it's just like small dividers, kind of partitioning them off, but different scenes, vibes in those various places. So that's kind of like San Jose. It's definitely more chill. It can get a little bit crazier during the night, but it's not like a 6th Street or anything like that by any means.
Right.
Now, in San Fran, it's a completely different type of vibe, right? So there's so many different pockets. It's kind of like Manhattan with the boroughs. So you have places like Hayes Valley that's a little bit more like hippie and kind of chill-ish. Or you have a road that's called Divisadero, where you have a lot more like dive bars on the Divisadero. Or Nob Hill. So it's like a lot of different places.
So it's kind of like here. It's kind of like here, section was, because here I feel like like the type of bar you go to is the type of area you go to.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
definitely still kind of that vibe over there. But it's just imagine it, but like
way
20 more
built up,
type
like,
of boroughs and kind of more, not as spread out.
Right.
But yeah, definitely same type of vibe. Depending on where you go, that's kind of the culture that you're going to be a part of.
It's funny because I was only in San Francisco, I think, like one full day, like maybe
Did you go
24 hours. Not really. Like, we had, like, drinks during the day, but the guy, we met up with a friend who actually lives in Chicago, but he was doing some work in San Francisco for the summer or something like that. Really fucking funny guy. But, so I don't know if he was even going to the spots. He's usually pretty clued in, so I'm sure there were spots that were popular. I couldn't tell you what they were. But just in general, like the Northern California, like look, feel, all that. Because I went to San Francisco, went to Yosemite, was also at Napa. And I just loved all that way more than Southern California.
Yeah.
And I know people love LA and they love San Diego, and I like them both. They're both cool. But like, it's just I think I'm more in tune with like Northern California. I like the outdoorsy aspect of it.
For real?
Yep. That aspect is huge. Like, I have a couple places saved on my phone, just even in the South Bay area where San Jose is and Cupertino is. There's like so many different places where you can walk around, right? You can chill. A lot of different trails, a lot of different actually wineries in South Bay too. So Napa is definitely like one of the premier where everybody's kind of like a household name in a sense. But there's so many just in the Bay Area as a whole. A lot of different wineries with different tastes, just depending on, you know what I mean, like what kind of greenery they're getting and the just a bunch of different things. So,
How's the transportation around there?
transportation is
It's not bad.
it's not bad. I don't really use it.
Right.
I drive, but it's definitely in abundance for sure.
It didn't seem that bad.
Yeah, they
I was
got
only
the
there
rail.
little time. But
Yeah. So I mean, they have the different rail systems. The bus system is actually pretty good, and then like you were talking about the trolleys, right? Or up in SF. So you have the trolleys. There's a couple in San Jose, but not a lot. It's mainly a SF thing for sure.
For sure. You spend time in Oakland?
I have been to Oakland. That shit's
I
hella dope
went there
and
one
hella
time.
ethnic. Yeah. I went there one time.
It's like clear segregation out there. Like, oh, here's
It's
the bridge.
crazy. Yeah, no, it's like Berkeley, right? You got USC Berkeley, I believe, is up there, right? And then, but then like you start to go south and you see it change, right?
Yeah.
Like you can tell the change, and then like it's different.
Is that what Pepperdine is, or is that in SoCal?
I think that's SoCal.
SoCal?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's like Malibu or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Which I liked. I liked LA. I like San Diego.
Bro, I loved LA, bro.
North California, just that for me, that's just my thing. But I also like Seattle and all
It
that.
seems like it'd be crispy up there.
It is, and that's why I like it.
It's mad crispy. You like Seattle and shit too, though, right?
Yeah,
Portland?
that's a little bit colder. I haven't been to Portland yet.
You haven't been to Portland?
Soon.
Yo, I like that show Portlandia.
Yeah.
That's just funny as fuck.
I really want to go to Portland too. Just like again, it's just another spot where it's like hella
Check
like
out, man.
yeah.
Chill vibes.
You went surfing up there?
Nah, I haven't been
Nah.
surfing yet. I need to go surfing though. I will.
Cause like I don't know, like the San Fran, like just like the Bay Area, like the NoCal like beaches kind of seem like way more cooler because they have like cliffs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, man. So this shorty, like, she came and visited me like couple weekends back, and I took her down PCH1. So I started up in SF, and then you could take PCH1 actually all the way down.
Tijuana, yeah.
Right? So you're taking PCH1, and I forgot the name of the beach, but there's like a beach that's like south of San Francisco. And you start there, you see a bunch of people fucking surfing, and then you can go again all the way down to Santa Cruz. No, it's like I can look up the name in a second, but it's basically like super dope ass beach, like you said, like really nice cliffs, and then you got Santa Cruz, which everybody knows that's kind of like the spot for surfing and shit like that. So yeah, man, if you want to surf, those are definitely the two places to go.
We gotta get
I want to do
there.
some like longboarding. Yeah, I want to like go out there. That's why I like went back to that shit. I was like, yo, San Fran kind of sound like live, like just the Bay Area. Period.
Half Moon Bay. That's
Half Moon Bay. Oh, that sound like some shit you get in your bag with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Yo, let's go to Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about, girl. Yo, this nigga Jock just texted me, man. He said you on the way.
So before we switch gears and record a Jock one, we got any final gripes?
Yo,
Final plugs? Any shout outs you want? Hey, Antonio, you're in town. By the time people hear this, you won't be in town. But, you know, anything you just want to shout out while you're here?
Yeah, man. I mean, damn, it's good to see my friends, my partners for sure. You know, definitely miss y'all boys. Come up and visit. Everyone, you know what I'm saying? Anyone
You
of
don't
my
have to tell
partners
me
that's
too many
here,
times.
come and visit.
Oh, no, yeah, for
my
real.
spot is furnished.
Okay.
I got a list of shit we could do. You know
all
what I'm
right.
I'm just trying to check shit off the list. So come and visit for sure.
I'm on my
Yo,
way.
for real, that's the next thing I'm really like saving up for outside of fucking like getting some more equipment for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Coming
A plane
soon.
ticket.
Yeah.
Yes,
A fucking plane
Come and
ticket.
do it. We
No
can
matter
talk
like
up.
where it is, I'm going somewhere.
Maybe-
It's legal up there, so whatever.
Yo,
Maybe
straight up.
a one way.
Nah, shit. Don't tell me with that, bro. If anybody ever tell me that shit, man, they might as well just like forget about it because I'm moving in with them. Straight up, I'm there.
It's crazy.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pack my shit tonight.
Well, Antonio, as always, man. Hey, I know you listen. Finally got you on. They're gonna be hating when they hear this, but I feel like this was the best one we did, honestly.
I appreciate
I mean,
it.
All the ones, I'm not gonna lie. I've listened back to every episode. Like, they all been fire, bro.
I like the
and
way
that's-
this one flowed, though. I do.
And like, I usually hate kind of like my own work. I'm very critical of my own work and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that like the shit that we even get into on this shit, you know what I'm saying? Even like as random as it does, even if it changes every time. We got one whole big ass episode this one time. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, shit, it works for me, man. It's all good. I love
I
it.
always enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Well, thanks for enjoying with us, brother.
For sure.
Hey, we'll
Thanks
talk
for
to you next
having me.
time.
Absolutely.
Already. Pause. Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on. Pause.